I'm
All
sorry. My
right.
computer, I spent 6 minutes trying to log into this thing.
Okay, so we are just live right now. Welcome, welcome everyone to our Unlimited Network Mastermind that we do every Saturday. 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And we really get together here to empower ourselves and to master creation and the mastering of our dreams and goals, and to really be this kind of conscious entrepreneur that master these, not only our minds, but I would say the laws of the universe. And at this very moment, we are working with Abraham Hicks, and we are studying the book that is called Money and the Law of Attraction. And, you know, it's kind of I mean, I'm super excited about getting these teachings in a deeper level. It's nothing that maybe we don't know, but from knowing it intellectually to be it, you know, I think is the big change that we are making here all together. And I just want to welcome everyone, not only the ones that we are here every Saturday. I just love to be all together. I believe that the more we change our own individual consciousness, the more we support the change of our entire world, you know. So I'm very excited about that, to do my part here. And I love to be surrounded with people like you that is committed to do your part. But also I want to welcome the people on the other side, the ones that are seeing just a recording or now live from unlimitednetwork.com/mastermind. And I just want to say that we read a little bit in the beginning here. And Doc Frank, because last week I didn't have the time to finish the section, if it's okay, I'm going to read the last 2 pages of this section. And then we are going to begin with the part number 4, that, you know, is another topic. So I let you start on that part if that's okay. And last week, is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, he said, yes, okay, beautiful. So last week, we really dive into, with depth, I mean, was interesting, you know, into this capacity and ability that we have, more and more, the more we learn, I would say, to take care of our physical body, you know, like to really understand that we can manage our symptoms, our experiences, taking them, you know, better at the beginning. So the more we are aware of the body, the more we can listen. And we were taught last Saturday, you know, how to focus on what works instead of what doesn't work, and how to really uplift our way of thinking, knowing that we are energetic beings and that we are the source inside ourselves, the source of our state, of our health state, financial state, all together. And it's interesting to me, I just want to say this, that we got together here. I really, you know, started this mastermind almost 2 years ago, I think now, with the intention to build up my financial freedom. That is a concept that was very new to me. And, you know, I'm mastering, you know, what that means or whatever, but it's interesting to understand with more depth that, yes, financial freedom is a consequence, you know, of our wealth, of our health, of our high vibration, of our excitement, of our connection with Source, and being in alignment the way that Abraham Hicks calls the vortex, you know, like to really be in alignment with your own desires and to be so aware of what you think, you know, that there is no one thought interfering here between what you want and what you are and where you are today. So that was powerful last week. And I want to continue on page 135, that I think is the conclusion of that section that was really helping us to understand that our health state, our vibration in our physical body is super, super important to really allow our financial success. It's really about vibration here. So let's keep deepening here. And if you have any comments, please just open your microphone and scream it out, because we want to make this journey experiential one, you know, not just an intellectual one. We really want to get this in our bones, in our DNA, okay? So here we go, page 135, and starts with, what is the chief cause of illness? Is asking, and Jerry says, so in simple terms, what do you see as the chief cause of illness? And Abraham responds, illness is caused by giving thought to unwanted topics, feeling negative emotion, but ignoring it, and continuing to focus upon unwanted such that negative emotion is getting greater. Until by the law of attraction, still more negative thoughts and experiences are attracted. Illness exists when you disregard the early subtle things of misalignment that come in the form of emotion. If you feel negative emotion and you do not change the thought to relieve the discomfort of the negative emotion, it always gets bigger until eventually the negative emotion becomes physical sensation, the physical deterioration. However, the illness is only an indication of your vibration. And whenever you change your vibration, the indicator will change to match the new vibration. Illness is nothing more than a physical indicator of energy out of balance. Many people who are experiencing illness disagree with our explanation of the cause of their illness being that the law of attraction is responding to their thoughts, as they protest that they have never thought about that particular illness. But illness does not occur because you are thinking about that illness or about any illness. Illness is an exaggerated indicator of negative thoughts that began as a subtle indicator of negative emotion and grew larger as the negative thoughts persisted. Negative thought is resistance, no matter the subject of the negative thought. That is the reason that new diseases continue to come about, and until the actual cause of the disease is addressed, there will never be a final cure. Okay, so we have to surrender here to our emotional, to really master our emotional body. You have potential for every illness in your body right now, and you have potential for a perfect state of health in your body right now. And you will solicit one or the other, or a mixture, depending upon your balance of thought. Our stories. Let's see. Jerry says, so in other words, from your perspective, there is no physical cause for illness or disease. It's all thought. Abraham responds, we understand your urge to give credence to action or behavior in attempting to explain causes. As you explain where your water comes from, you will be accurate to point to the faucet as the source of the water coming into your kitchen sink. But there is much more to the story of where the water comes from than only the faucet. And in like manner, there is much more to the story about the source of wellness or of illness. Your ease or disease are symptoms of the balance of your thought. And that balance will manifest through the path of least resistance as surely as water flows downhill. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. What I hear here is that they pointing in one place, they're pointing that it's emotion that's the cause, but then I also hear that the cause of the emotion is a thought. So I don't hear it exactly defined, but I think that's what it's trying to say, that yes, when we have an emotion that's unexperienced, we are not aware of it, then we get a physical disease. But the emotion itself was actually caused by a misthinking. Any thoughts on that?
No, absolutely. I totally get that. And the thing is, I think the call really, because it's not so easy to get aware of all the thoughts that we have, but when there is an amount of negative thoughts or not in alignment thoughts, enough to manifest, the first manifestation is emotional. So to really be aware, how am I feeling, what's really going on inside, and to take care of that so we can switch the thought, like you say, then we will find, the thought that is working there. I mean, that's my understanding. And it's beautiful because with my feminine work, I'm always supporting and I'm checking in all the time, what I'm feeling really, and then to become aware of that river of thoughts that nurtures that feeling, and to be capable, master enough to change that thought. So yes, I mean, check how we feel constantly. That's the energy, the emotion, energy in motion, Thank you. So let's go here and says, an example of my old, in quotes, story about my physical well-being. I'm noticing symptoms in my body that worry me. And here I want to highlight, like worry me. I mean, to me, like the other day, I have some bite from a spider or whatever it is that came in, and then my body was reacting. And I mean, it's so easy how the first thought that comes, something is wrong, And then I start to say, no, my body can handle it, my body can handle it, my body can handle it. And was, better and better, absolutely. So, I mean, it's so interesting how we immediately worry. We think the worst, or something, I don't know. As I get older, I feel less strong, less stable, less healthy, less secure. I worry about where I am headed health-wise. I have tried to take care of myself, but I don't see that it has helped that much. I guess it's just normal to feel worse as time goes on. I saw that with my parents, so I'm really worried about my health. That's the old, in quotes, story, okay? We can see the consequences of that, right? So now it says, an example of my new, in quotes, story about my physical well-being. And simply notice how that feels, okay? Because it's so amazing. I mean, my body responds to my thoughts about it and to my thoughts about everything I think about. The better my thoughts feel when I think them, the more I allow my own personal well-being. I like knowing that there is an absolute correlation between how I feel and what my chronic thoughts have been and how those thoughts felt as I thought them. I like knowing that those feelings are meant to help me choose better feeling thoughts, which produce better feeling vibrations, which will produce a better feeling body. My body is so responsive to my thoughts, and that is such a good thing to know. I am getting rather good at choosing my thoughts. No matter what condition I find myself in, I have the power to change it. My state of physical health is simply an indication of the state of my chronic thoughts. I have control of both. A physical body is an amazing thing in the way it began as a glob of fetal cells to become this full-blown human body. I am impressed with the stability of the human body and the intelligence of the cells that make up the human body as I notice how my body accomplishes so many important functions without my conscious involvement. What a miracle. I like that it is not my conscious responsibility to move the blood through my veins or the air through my lungs. I like that my body knows how to do that and does that so well. The human body in general is quite an amazing thing, an intelligent, flexible, durable, resilient, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching thing. My own body serves me very well. I love my exploration of life through my physical body. I enjoy my stamina and flexibility. I like living life in my body. I love that. I am so pleased with my eyes that look out into this world, seeing near and far from where I stand, distinguishing shapes and colors with such vivid perception of depth and distances. I so enjoy my body's ability to hear and smell and taste and feel. I love the tactile sensual contact of this planet and my life in my wonderful body. I feel appreciation and fascination for my body's self-patching ability as I watch wounds cover over with new skin and as I discover renewed resiliency when traumas to my occur. occur. I am so aware of my body's flexibility, my fingers' dexterity, and the immediate response that my muscles show to any task I attempt. I like understanding that my body knows how to be well and is always moving toward wellness. That's amazing. And that as I do not get in the way of that with negative thought, wellness must prevail. I'm going to read that one more time. I like understanding that my body knows how to be well and is always moving towards wellness. And that as I do not get in the way of that with negative thought, wellness must prevail.
That's interesting because that goes with abundance as well, no? So the wellness flows naturally unless we block it. And the same with the well-being, which is also abundance, which is money, everything. So that's good to know.
You're right. Beautiful. I love it. So I like understanding the value of my emotions, and I understand that I have the ability to achieve and maintain physical well-being because I have the ability to find and maintain happy thoughts. That's it. On any day in this world, even when some things in my body may not be at their best, I am ever aware that far, 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 far more things are functioning as they should, and that the aspects of well-being of my body are dominant. And most of all, I love my body's quick response to my attention and intentions. I love understanding my emotions and the powerful productive qualities of my deliberate alignment. I love living life in my body. I feel such appreciation for this experience. I feel good. There is no right or wrong way to tell your improved story. It can be about your past, present, or future experience. The only criterion that is important is that you be conscious of your intent to tell a better feeling, improved version of your story. Telling many good feeling short stories throughout your day will change your point of attraction. Just remember that the story you tell is the basis of your life. So tell it the way you want it to be. Woohoo! Wow. And with this, we finish this section, the part number 3, that was really all about well-being and feeling good. And yes,
I have a
Arne, come
thought
in.
here. You know, it sounds very wonderful what they say, but it's not that easy to do, in my experience. So yes, first of all, I need to have not have negative thoughts. Okay, I can do that. Then I need to be aware of having um, doing positive thoughts or good thoughts. Yes. Now to actually do it, to actually remember it. There is a difference between knowing how to do it and actually doing it. For me, I know I'm supposed to be having good thoughts. I know I'm not supposed to have negative thoughts of, you know, those people over there, what they are doing, and my emotions. I know it, and I know where I am at. But to actually switching it from not only knowing where I'm at and what I should be doing to actually doing it, that's the big step for me, and that I'm struggling with. I know it, but to actually, especially when it's hard time, especially when I'm facing that thing, I know what to do, but oh shit. So that's what I'm working on.
Well, what I see, Arne, is that we have more and more choice, meaning that, you know, from being unconscious to suddenly you are conscious, and then you cannot choose it, but you are growing in awareness. So at the end, you know, we have more and more choice. And something that I want to share here, and that really helped me. You know, when I study, I am a medical doctor. I would say retired medical doctor, but I remember when I started my career, how in love I was to physiology. And physiology is, you know, how the body works when it works well. And I was on my knees, and at the time I was 20 years old or 21 years old maximum. I mean, very young, but I was a book, the Guyton, I remember, was this thick, you know, like incredibly, and I was devouring. I mean, I was amazed, really. And I could see the body as a miracle. But then the entire rest of the career was all about pathology. You know, it's like you know how it works, but then you start to focus on what is not working, right? So I can see how we keep creating sicknesses. That is really much what we read last week, right? But one thing that really I will always remember was that admiration that I have for this amazing miracle that the body is working together. I don't have to think about, like we say, the blood on the veins and blah, blah, and the nerves, whatever. But also, you know, to love my body. That is something that I developed through my feminine work with women, and I'm saying that to you, Arne, right now. You know, if in the moment that we have a symptom or even we have a thought, I mean, when I say to love my physical body, I include to love my emotional body, to love my mental body, but to really be gentle with it. You know, it's like, I love you, doesn't matter what. Like I was with my eating with the spider thing or whatever it is, I don't even know what that was. But it's like my entire body was in reaction, you know, in the beginning, oh my gosh. And then I say, you know what, you can do this. You are protecting me here. I know you can, you know, I love you, I love you. So that kind of relationship with our bodies, I think, are very healthy to begin with and new. You know, we come from rejecting the body, thinking that the body was the cause of separation from source, God, or whatever in our collective consciousness, you know. So I just love that we can be open to engage with the body in a different way. And I see you, Doc Frank, with the microphone open, and I do want to hear you. Welcome, honey. And I close my microphone here. Welcome.
Well, thanks, and good morning. Yeah, you know, Arnie, you hit the nail right on the head in terms of it's easy to intellectualize about these things and be consciously aware of them, but the very thought that you are consciously aware is an indication that you are coming from a sensation of lack of doing that action. And so in that is the crux of the conundrum here. How do we simply do these things without thinking about them? And so what I found for myself, and it seems to me that this is what I see in other individuals who do things, great things for themselves and for others, they tend to be simply done because you know they're going to get done. You don't think about it. And it sounds a little bit strange, but it's true. And so what I've done over the last year is I made a conscious decision that I was not going to continue to do and live my life every day the way I had been living that life every day for the last 5, 10, 15 years. And I made that switch where all I did was focus on everything that has been good in my life and not paying a bit of attention to anything that's happening at this point in time in my life. And it really does work. You start with the intention to change and know then that your intention will be the dominant manifestation. Develop the faith and the belief that what you do truly want to manifest will manifest. And then simply spend all of your day doing things, thinking things that make you feel good. As simplistic as that sounds, the very action of allowing yourself to simply feel good, independent of anything that is actually occurring in your, quote, reality, the illusion of your life, is the key to definitely setting this underlying tone of positive vibration. And if we try and do it, it eludes us. If we simply intend and believe, it joins us.
Thank you, Doc Fran. I love it because I feel supported on the arena of last week. For whatever reason, I touched, you know, this word faith, like the certainty, you know, the faith, the certainty that what I'm asking is there already. I don't know, maybe all the things that we are reading here, whatever. So I totally get what you're saying, Doc Fran. You know, like to be sure, you know, to be sure that it's coming, it's happening, you know, and then to focus on enjoying life. So I think we're progressing. But let's Candace, welcome.
Thank you. The way you described it, Doc Fran, made me think of it almost as an act of conscious rebellion against that old thought, which was made it seem a little more fun to me all of a sudden. But instead of
we know what we don't want.
Exactly.
With absolute clarity on what we don't want, we can then intend what we do want.
and I appreciate the topic that Arnie brought up is the for me, I'll use the word finesse it takes to learn to teach myself to consistently do that. And that's the segue into what I wanted to say about what we've just read, is that in reading Abraham at this point, when I get to something like the example of my new story that we just read, I spend time with those paragraphs, and I walk around and read them to myself, a few sentences at a time. I let them soak in. I read them more than once in different situations, and I just spend time really. I've read the rest of the book up till then, and then I just really hang out with those places that teach me or that reinforce in me what I'm learning to stay positive and the words that it takes to tell myself so. And I'm just appreciating on so many levels, on every level, that my life is transforming as a result of it. Everything always works out for me. That's what I wanted to say.
I love that song. Thank you, Heidi, for that video. Remember, you sent a YouTube video with everything always works out for me, and I start to dance. I had such a good time with it, you know, from Abraham. Yes, thank you so much. Beautiful, Candace. Thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, I really see, you know, that this, you know, we started the MasterMind, this book on our Spanish MasterMind last week, and I read the beginning of the book where Jerry explains where he's writing the book and how grateful he is to the builders and the electricists, people. I mean, I was like, and I think because it's my language, my native language, let's say, you know, I get it like with more depth or something. It's like, oh my gosh, how creative, you know. So I totally agree with you, Candace, that to read a good thinking, you know, about our bodies is super inspiring, you know, so thank you. Yes, Heidi, welcome, welcome.
Oh, well, I just wanted to share just a simple sentence that I use that just puts me in that happy place. I just say, blessings, blessings everywhere. And I raise my arms up, and then I just allow the blessings to come. Because it's opening me up to receivership, and I just love the word blessings. I don't know, it's so empowering for me. So that's it.
Monica.
Yes. Thank you, Heidi.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Heidi, and it's true. I mean, what we get is what we will allow ourselves to receive. So that's part of the equation.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say to Candace, you know, your thoughts are well based in historical teachings, because Rumi is attributed to have said 6,000 years ago, you know, live life as if it were rigged in your favor. And you know, when you start doing that, and you know, and it is funny. I have one aggravating series of things that occurs all the time, and maybe some of you can relate to this. It always seems that if I'm going someplace where I have a sensation of lack of time to get there, I'm under the gun, I'm running late, whatever, I have the most unbelievably effective tractor beam that will bring every, you know, creeping Jesus in the world in front of me, every red light, and you know, it's so, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Like, you get rid of one creeping Jesus, he turns right, and you think you got a clear road, and then all of a sudden this guy comes out through a stop sign from the left, races into the line of traffic, and then slows down to 22 miles an hour. You know, and it just absolutely blows my mind all the time. And I was thinking the other day, you know, why am I so freaking good at creating these absolute creeping Jesuses in front of me all the time when I least can tolerate them? And it suddenly dawned on me that the problem is that my whole thought process was based on the lack of time. And so if you simply stop that thought and just know that you're going to get wherever you're going exactly on time and in exactly the right time, it's amazing how these people evaporate without me even using my Vaporay on them. Back to you, Monica.
That was so good. Great daily example, because we catch ourselves there, you know. Beautiful, beautiful. So let's see if anybody would like to share something, or you have questions to complete. Excuse me?
Let's go reading.
I'm leading.
No, Oh, you didn't finish?
No, I've just finished the section, but I want to complete this section because to introduce you the new session here, Doc Fran, that I would like you to start to read here again, is just to see that we went through financial, understanding, and then we went to how important it is to feel good in our body, because that is what will allow the financial well-being, to come. And now we come to the section, to the part number 4. And here I'll let you come in, Doc Fran.
Well, I appreciate it, and I do have one final thought on the section we just completed. I never lost touch from childhood with the knowledge that I had a perfectly functioning body, that I was blessed with a very healthy body. And that's an invaluable asset in life, and there are many. I'm sure every person on this call shares that same belief and knowingness about their own personal health. And we also, I'm sure, can point to lots of people in our own sphere of contact who have an overwhelming focus on poor health or illness or disease. And these people are always sick, either in real terms, or at least if it's not just pure psychosomatics, which of course it all is, but if it's not, what's it, von Munchausen's disease, but 90% of the cost of health is generated by 10% of the people on this planet that have a focus on their poor health, and as a result, it keeps this trillion-dollar industry in flow. So there's a good side and a bad side to everything. But it is amazing when you really do know that the statistics are very much lined up in our favor as people who have a solid belief in the healthiness of our body. We don't worry about an ache or a pain or this or that. If something is wrong, we know when something's wrong, and we can go and we can seek corrective action. But we don't focus on every little ache, pain, etc., so that we never generate a thread, a belief, which is a thought we keep thinking that there's something wrong with my body. So the statistics are very clear. People who don't go to doctors in their lifetime live longer by decades than people who go to doctors regularly. It drives me crazy, these freaking ads on TV now, where they'll have some little. I think the new one is hepatitis B. People are, I guess, are so tired of hearing about all the majors, so now they're pulling these events that affect less than 0.1% of the population of the planet, but they've created a vaccine for it, of course, which now we need to be giving to our children in order to protect them from something that won't occur if they lived 10 lifetimes on this planet. But that's the focus is constantly to try and draw us into fear and awareness. So, when you know that your body is healthy and you live in robust health, even with the occasional aches or discomforts or whatever, or even the occasional injury, that's all just part of the process that allows us to gain another insight and understanding. But it is very easy to stay in this state of joy when you don't even have a background vibration of concern about the health of your body.
Thank you, Doc Frank. I mean, last week was a big section on the book that was just, I love that you can reaffirm that, because it was completely our own, I think, ignorance and consciousness. I'm glad that more and more people like us, we are waking up and to come, to this power of choice that we have, really. So thank you, Doc Frank. So are you ready to continue reading here?
Well, I'm very happy to do that, and I like the new format. So, anytime that if I say something that I think needs discussion, and I'll stop and point it up. But anyone who's motivated to come in and reflect contemporaneously on something, a cognition that they have from hearing the written word here, or the spoken word, please feel free. I think that's an improvement, Arnie, Monica, and I'm sure the team agrees.
Beautiful, thank you.
Okay, so perspectives of health, weight, and mind. I want to enjoy a healthy body. Bringing your physical body into alignment is a tremendously valuable thing to do for two reasons. First, there is no subject that people think about more than their own body. And that is logical since you take it with you everywhere you go. Second, since every perspective or thought that you have flows through the lens of your physical body, your attitude on virtually every subject is influenced by the way you feel about your physical body. Because science and medicine have been slow to acknowledge the connection between mind and body, between thoughts and outcomes, and between attitudes and results, most people are reeling in a plethora of contradictory guidance relative to their bodies. Whenever the basis of an understanding is flawed, no amount of patching it with methods, potions, or remedies can bring consistently provable results. Arnie, that speaks directly to the frustration that you feel in your last sharing here with the group. No amount of thought can be overcome by a basic flaw in the understanding of the thing that you're trying to overcome. Understand that you've already overcome it. I love it. All right. And because the alignment of energies for each individual varies because of such a variety of factors in beliefs, desires, expectations, and early and current influences, it is little wonder that remedies that work every time are non-existent. And it is no wonder that most are truly confused about their physical bodies. When you attempt to gather and process information about what is happening with other people's bodies, instead of utilizing your own emotional guidance system to understand your current alignment or misalignment of energy, it is tantamount to using a roadmap from a different country to plan your route in your own country. The information simply has no bearing on you and where you are right now. You have been given so much information that is contradictory to that which we know to be and to laws of the universe that we are extremely happy to talk to you about you and your body relative to the greater picture. We want to assist you in finding a clear understanding of how to be healthy, how to be a healthy being who is physically fit, who looks as you want to look, whole in terms of mind, spirit, and body. And when you use your mind to deliberately focus your thoughts to align with the thoughts of your inner being or spirit, your physical body will be a manifestational evidence of that alignment. I want to inject here, think what a relief it is. What would any of us get done in this universe if we had to consciously think about breathing all the time, every minute of every day? If we had to consciously think about whether the food we just ingested was being properly converted by the proper enzymes in our gut to become available to us in our bloodstreams as molecules of use to our body's physiology, which can be converted into energy that we need to contract the muscles in our arms and fingers and hands to control the pen that our brain is trying to make a cognizant sentence on a piece of paper with.
I'm already exhausted.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, we have to get out of the way.
Yeah. Well, Arnie, you mentioned the key phrase. We are the only thing that stops the flow of everything in our lives. Regardless, you pick any topic upon which you choose to focus, and we are the impediment to having that topic in abundance because of our thoughts about
wanting to be right.
Oh God, that's a huge button. We always want to be right. I mean, that's one of the greatest things in the universe. So, the need to be right is the cause of, look at the conflicts in the world today. You know, good Lord, you know. These people are so deluded into believing that everybody on the planet should be living in caves in the stone mountains of some frozen, desolate tundra, some goddamn place, and that we're all wrong and evil and perverted for having a delightful lifestyle and enjoying the actions and manifestations of a lovely lifestyle. I don't know. Okay. Anybody have anything to say?
I'd rather be happy than right.
Well, that's a very good posture to start from. And by God, you're right. And you're right because I agree with you. Oh my God, isn't that cool? It's so easy to be right when people say things that you agree with. All right, I want to balance my desires and experiences. It's not possible to bring your physical body to a state of perfect health by only thinking about the physical aspects of your being and then offering actions regarding your physical body. Without an understanding of the connection between the physical you and the non-physical vibrational inner you, there can be no consistent understanding or control. In other words, while it may feel to you that the path to a good-feeling, good-looking body will be a result of your behavior in terms of food intake and activity, it is really much more about your vibrational alignment between the physical and non-physical aspects of your being. Once you accept the totality of your being and you make that vibrational alignment your top priority, you are well on your way to achieving and maintaining your desired physical body. But if you use conditions of others, experiences of others, and opinions of others as your gauge for wellness, you will not be able to control the condition of your own physical body. In other words, as you strive for a physical standard based on a comparison with the experiences of others, rather than striving for your personal alignment between you and you in capital letters, you will never discover the key to control over your own body.
I want to stop here 1 second, Doc Fran, because I just would like to acknowledge the amazing career or path that we human beings are going through here, because really we come from, I don't know how many of you, you know, like you were saying before, that you always thought that your body was strong and, you know, and healthy, whatever. But, you know, to really come from this disconnection, I mean, the body was something that was an unconscious tool. So for us, what I'm saying here, what I'm getting from this section that you read right now is that it's really high on our spiritual understanding that we are much more than this physical body. And then I think is when we can look for it inside, you know, like, so when we talk about conscious entrepreneurs, but at the end is to really open the door that, hey, the world is not so outside you, you know, it really comes from you, and to get that ability to sense inside our inner body, our inner self, you know. So I want to acknowledge that we are really waking up, you know, by reading this book and understanding, and it's high, you know. There is a lot of, like you were saying, Dr. Frank, ignorance around the world, you know. To me, not everybody is so conscious of the inner being, and we are learning how to be more and more, you know. So I just want to appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you know, it occurs to me as you spoke that if you're upset about yourself on any level, like go back, how many of us had the experience as teenagers that just before the big dance, your formerly flawless skin develops this great big throbbing pulsating red zit right in the middle of your forehead or your cheek or on the tip of your nose or some place, and when you look in the mirror, the only thing you see is that zit. So you immediately believe that the entire experience of this big date that you've got planned is now irrevocably ruined for all time because of this, you know, unbelievably pulsating, vibrating zit on your face. And it ruins the experience of the night. No matter how much cover-up you put on it, your attention units are still stuck on that zit. And every time your date looks at you, you're thinking that the only thing they're looking at is, oh dear God, he's got this horrendous zit on his face. oh, Jesus, and I'm with this guy. Isn't there somebody else here that I could, go dance with or something, I mean, these are the traumas of teens that still affect me to this day, Oh, man. Anyway, all right, I'm going to just read this last little section, and then I think we're done, and we can start on the discussion of it. Because this leads us up perfectly to the next section. It says, I needn't compare my body to others. Another thing, I was born Irish with freckles. What an injustice. How come Italians have all this beautiful, flawless, tan, smooth skin that looks absolutely perfect at the beach? Anyway, that's another whole section that I have to deal with. I mean, God is really cruel to me. I just don't understand it. All right, I needn't compare my body to others. We would like to assist you in understanding that there is not one state of being that is the correct one, or even the most wanted one. And for there are a great many varieties of states of physical bodies that have been intended by you as you emerged into this physical body. If it had been your intent to be all the same, more of you would be the same, and you are not. You come forth with all sorts of varieties of size and shape and flexibility and dexterity. Some are stronger, others are more agile. You came with great variety, adding all sorts of differences that are of tremendous advantage to the whole. You came forth in your great variety to add balance to this time and place. And so we would like to encourage you, rather than looking at yourselves and acknowledging that you are lacking in this or in that characteristic, as most of you do, we would like to assist you in looking toward the advantages of that which you are. In other words, as you are assessing or analyzing your physical body, spend a greater part of your time looking for the advantages that it offers, not just to you, but to the balance of all that is. Jerry asks, I recall that when I used to work out on a trapeze with the circus, I was too heavy to be what they called a flyer, and I was too light to be called what they called a catcher. So the trapeze wasn't my place to be comfortable unless we got a heavier catcher or a lighter flyer, so to speak. So I was still an aerialist, but I performed what was called an aerial bar act, where nobody had to catch me and I didn't have to catch anyone. But I didn't see myself lacking because I didn't think that I should have been bigger or smaller. I just found something that I liked to do, and it still gave me some general feeling of performing as an aerialist. Abraham comments, good. That is excellent. All right, let's stop there because the next topic can bring us an hour of discussion just in the one paragraph.
Perfect, yeah. And I don't know, we have Celio or?
Yes,
Okay,
beautiful.
or...
Thank you so much, Dr. Frank. I mean, I really see that the tendency to compare. I'm so happy that I think maturity, prevails here. But I love to, I totally see the teenager age, being so worried about that inch that didn't fit, instead of all the magnificence of the rest. But Celio, I see your microphone open. I would love to hear your wisdom. Welcome.
With what was last read by Dr. Fram, because it's the perfect example when Jerry talks about, his trapeze experience, which, by the way, I had no idea he had been a trapezist, because it's the perfect balance. I mean, not in one, and trapeze is such a, if you think about the trapeze, for me at least, it's like, my God, I'm right there in the void, it's like a perfect example for our situation in our life, just to find that balance, not in the heavy side or in the light side. He found a place of well-being, a place of balance that he could do that work of trapezist, and there he could tell the story he wanted to tell, which is the whole point. There is not the lacking, it is the story you want to tell, because this this telling the story is so deep, because we're most of the time telling the wrong story of our lives or the wrong story of other people. So just for me, it's like asking, that the source really for me to see, because it's so easy to catch ourselves without realizing, telling ourselves the wrong story, and just for me that's not the problem. The problem is not to realize that I'm doing that and then stopping right there. In the moment I see myself telling myself, or anybody else, but to myself mostly, the story that I don't want, just realize it and start saying what you hate. You were saying, the blessing, the I am, and it's like even it's an act of incredible humility. Just okay. I'm saying to myself the wrong story, but now in this moment I realize, and I can open myself to the blessing, and I can to the I am and to the positive, and start saying in that moment the right story, the story I want for my life, for my body, and definitely abundance. Arnie, like you were saying, because it all starts there in the body, and in the physical, because we're here in a physical form, and we're going to be rich entrepreneurs or millionaire entrepreneurs in that physical form. We're not going to be millionaire entrepreneurs as angels. I mean, we can have an angelic help, but definitely we're going to manifest it in our bodies. So for me, this is so important, so deep, and I just love that in this new part, it's like more understanding of that, of how important it is to, for God's sake, really start telling yourself and other people or whomever, the right story of your life. And another thing that is essential and crucial, definitely not to be affected by gauges of other people's impressions or what you think you should be compared to other people in your business, in your family, even in your team. Just be yourself. I find for me the best story just being Celia, not being Monica or Dr. Fran or Candice. I mean, each one of us is so precious the way we are telling the story we want to tell. This is the whole point of this exercise. But it's really deep, it's really incredible, and to me, it's all about energy. I think more and more as we dive into this book, I really understand that the basic of many things that are happening right now in the field of personal growth and energy are really based in the work of Abraham and Esther Hicks, because it's really, really fundamental, really, really fundamental. And they've been doing this for, I don't know, like 8, 10, even maybe 15 years. And incredible people now that are working in energy, they recognize how important and how basic and fundamental is being in their work, this work that we're doing right now. So, getting back to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Celio. Beautiful. I mean, I totally want to highlight what you said, because I think it's so important. The capacity, the ability that we have to write our own story, to think the story that we want to live. And it's so simple, look like, but I mean, use like Doc Frank was saying before, the contrast, when I am feeling something that I don't want, what it is that I want, that is going to help me to focus on that. So yeah, let's master that. Jay, welcome.
Welcome. How is everyone?
Good, thank you.
Good. It's funny that the aerial story, and you want to be in a position, but part of it there's telling you that you want to be in an industry or do something, and you have that specific area in mind, but sometimes you have to be led a little different position than you originally intended to be in. He wanted to be in that, but he couldn't do that one specific job. It reminds me of a story. I owned a livery business in New Jersey, and we hired this guy, a really, really great guy, customer service oriented, on time, showed up. The only problem was he couldn't drive. So, and that's pretty bad when your service is, to be a driver. And he crashed cars and was like, oh, okay, he got in an accident, and then he crashed another car, and luckily no one was injured. And then the insurance companies at a certain point say, look, we can't let this guy work for you anymore because we can't insure him. But we didn't want to lose him as an employee, so, and he didn't want to leave the company. So, and it ended up being just like, with the aerialist, we found a total different position. He became a dispatcher for us. Now, he still was in the industry. He still got to work for us. It just wasn't exactly what he chose to do, but we got a great employee. He found employment. So sometimes your path is changed a little bit, but you still end up in the industry or the position or the area that you want to be. Just you're performing a different task. So I thought that was a little bit interesting there and comparing that because in life everybody can't be the leader. Everybody can't be speaking at the same time. So sometimes we need to, everybody wants to be on top, but that's impossible. Everybody wants to be the quarterback. There's only one quarterback. So we need to realize sometimes in the position that you're shooting for, you're never going to get it. And that shouldn't always be a disappointment. Maybe you're not suited for it. Maybe it's just not your time. Or, physically you can't do it, whatever the thing is. But that doesn't mean that you stop striving to get there. You just might have to take a different route or be in a different area of that position. And I wanted to add one thing that Doc was talking about, us healing ourselves, and we see all these commercials and the medicines and that different things, and everybody's sick and they keep coming out with disease. And I think if you look at the animals, and this might be a little off, but we had a cat for 20 years that recently passed away and was always in great health until like the last year of life. And I never, we took her for her initial shots and never ever went to a vet. And my good friend is a vet, and then in her last year, we could see something was wrong, and so we took her, and he said, "Dude, when is the last time she was at a vet?" And I said, "She's 20 years ago." And he said, "Well, tell me how you do it." And I said, "Well, we keep her away from vets." And maybe that's a lesson for people that my dad always would say, if you go to a specialist, he's going to find something especially wrong with you. So just a little thought in line with what we were talking about there on our health. And I'll send it back to you, Monica.
Thank you, Jay. That's super beautiful to see, and sorry for the letting go of the little cat, but I mean, what a teaching, what a beautiful example, of life, and you're totally right. I mean, we get what we focus on. That's something that Arne always said, and we are mastering to write. I can see the employee that you were saying here, and I get your point, there is not only leaders, but to me, I don't really know how the universe is going to create. I see the universe as unlimited, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, all is possible. Now, the key is to really write our own stories inside, So if I want to be a leader, let's say, or the boss, or whatever it is, the position that whatever, someone is looking for, it's really up to the person inside, to have that clear story written, and enjoying it and manifest it. And then the how that will happen, the universe will take care of it. But I do love, like you say, sometimes I think that, I'm going in that direction and life is really pushing me to a right to another that is better. That song, Heidi, that you said last week, everything works out for me and better, like something better is coming. I mean, to really start to have this kind of quality thoughts in our minds that many of us, we have now more or less on automatic, is a huge change, of surrendering and allowing it and trusting life. So I totally see, that we can really master, creation. And so thank you, Jay. And let's see, just 10 a.m. This is to be on time today. Let's see if anybody would like to say the last word here before we close. And okay, so it doesn't look like this, so perfect. So then what we are going to do is we are going to close for today, and we are going to get together. Yes, Doc Fran, I can see you open before I close if you want to say something.
Yeah, thanks, Monica. And what I wanted to just what I was reflecting on as Jay was talking and we wrapped up the chapter is how I've gone through my life constantly comparing myself to others. And the result of that was always coming up short in my own mind and expectation. I wasn't as tan as anybody else. I didn't have that smooth skin that everybody else had. I wasn't as tall as I wanted to be. In short, I grew up with a terrible self-image. And I was focused on that. So isn't it amazing that the experiences of my life constantly reinforced my terrible self-image in my own mind? And fortunately, others' experiences of me was markedly different than my own experience of me. And the point of my little talk here is that despite coming through this process very flawed on a constant time basis from the standpoint of my focus and thoughts, my inner knowingness always knew that that was the contrasts that I needed to work through in this lifetime. And it's a constant amazement to me that I've come out the other end of this tunnel despite all of my obvious flaws, imperfections, shortcomings, etc., as a fairly successful being in this lifetime. So the message is, it doesn't matter how many mistakes we make in our own mind. We can't make mistakes. We're all on the path that is exactly what we intend for ourselves in this lifetime. We're all going to accomplish exactly the life purpose that we set out to accomplish before we leave this body. And once you relax and understand that and enjoy, then you can truly understand the wisdom and the pleasure, the peace that comes with applying Rumi's principle to live life as if it's rigged in your favor. Because, folks, it really is. Back to you.
Yes, 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 yes. I love it. Thank you so much, Doc Frank. With that aroma, with that savor, with that sense, you know, like, yes, everything is in our favor. And we have the capacity to think this way. There is, you know, we are so blessed, I would say, you know, like we are open to this. So thank you so much, Doc Frank, for this uplifting, you know, closing that we have here. And we're going to get together next Saturday. That's going to be November 28th already. It's like, oh my God, we are close to Christmas here. But the thing is, we get next Saturday again. And if you know anybody here that would like to join us, remember, this is an offer that is an offering, you know, from all of us here, to support the awakening of prosperity consciousness in general. And I really believe that the more we do our inner work individually, like we have our unique body, we don't need to compare, of course, or whatever, but the more we, you know, we do our inner work individually, the more we affect our collective consciousness. So if you know anybody, anyone that could enjoy this, benefit from this, please invite them, or send them to Arne, A-R-N-E, at unlimitednetwork.com. So Arne can organize a special link to be on the panel or to let them know where the recordings of every section is, because we have all the videos, all the Saturdays are recorded and on our archive under unlimitednetwork.com. But this one is for the entire week under unlimitednetwork.com/mastermind. So we can keep showering ourselves here, okay? So besides that, just have a wonderful, prosperous week. And I see you next Saturday, 10 a.m. New York time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Awesome.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone this week.
Yes, absolutely.
Gobble, gobble.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, so many things to be grateful, you know. Thank you. Thank you.
Indeed.